What's banging YouTube? It's the OG Bloodshot Red coming back with another one. We're gonna start this one right here off, man. Get on that like button, man. Get in them comments, man. Hit that subscribe button, man. Let's do this, man. I appreciate everybody that's subscribed. I appreciate all my views. Man, I'm just trying to, get myself in place here, man. That's all, man. And I appreciate all everything that y'all do. And if y'all new to the channel, I suggest you go back, catch my earlier videos, man. It's a young channel, it's new. Ain't too many, but it'll get you up to speed on what's going on and why I'm here and what I'm all about. I will say that this is a prison content channel. I don't glorify any crimes that I've committed. I don't glorify any crimes that anybody else committed. What I do is I talk about my experiences over the 30 years that I did in Texas Department of Criminal Justice. And I just try to talk about the lessons that I learned from those experiences. So with that being said, let's get into this one. Well, this one right here took place, the situation right here took place around like 2001. It was basically a year after Texas 7 had escaped from Conley Unit, and this was on Conley Unit. This situation that I'm speaking on right now took place on Conley Unit. I talk a lot about Conley Unit, John B. Conley Unit in Kennedy, Texas, because I was over there I was over there 2 times, and both times were lengthy times that I was there. And so a lot of my experiences and stuff that I talk about on that unit, but I got experiences on a lot of other units that I was on too. But yeah, this was around 2001. It was November, and it was coming up on Thanksgiving. For a timeline, I'll just say it's about 7 days before Thanksgiving. So one of the blast partners that I used to kick it with real tough, named Retaliation, he came to me and he propositioned me. He said, man, you want to make some wine for Thanksgiving? And I'm like, yeah, I'll make some wine. What's up? Because, at that particular time on that part, I was pretty much, the hooch man. I made that fire. I made that fire water for real. And I said, yeah, man, what you trying to do? And he said, man, I want 10 gallons. I said, all right. And he said, but look, I can give you 5 gallons for you and your homeboys. And we'll take 5 gallons if that's cool with you, and we'll call it even. So I'm like, oh yeah, man, that's a bet, man. I ain't doing no tripping, So he bought all of the ingredients and everything, went to the store, bought all the ingredients, or he already had them or whatever. And he brought them to me. So I put it on. So we'll just say day 6, I put it on, right? And I had to kind of start a little earlier than normal because it was so cold. It was during November, so it was kind of cold. So I wanted to make sure they gave me plenty enough time to, for that yeast to eat that sugar up, turn that stuff into that fire water. So day 5, man, we wake up and the whole pod, it's cops everywhere, it's COs everywhere. They telling everybody, get up, get dressed, go to the passive rec yard. So I don't know what's going on, but I know I'm kind of tripping now. I got all this stuff in my locker, man. I got a multi-outlet plugged from the wall, running to my locker. I got like 3-4 lamps plugged into it. I got the lamps inside my locker. They keep it hot. Got it wrapped up in a blanket and everything. And got my lock on my locker. But any officer that walks by and he sees it, anybody walk by, they gonna know what I'm doing. I'm cooking hooch, it's just the way that we do it. We have to do it like this, and I ain't trying to get busted. I ain't trying to just get no dry case for nothing, So I'm kind of tripping. So, man, we get dressed and everything, man. So we go outside. We go to the passive rec yard. So while we sitting out there on the passive rec yard, I find out what all this is about. So what the situation was about was it was a white guy who stayed on the section with us. And he was riding with a Tango blast on one section named Dirty Boy. And me and Dirty Boy was cool too. We had a good rapport. I had a good rapport with all the blasts. Basically, we was a lot of respect for one another, And Dirty Boy, he was a blood in the world. So, I didn't know him in the world. He from Baytown. I'm not from Baytown. So we met in prison, but it was just, it was just a common common respect for one another and everything. And it was always, cordial between one another. But the white guy, he actually was riding with Dirty Boy. Now, this white guy that stayed over here on our section was extra out. I mean, this fool he stayed in stuff. He stayed in stuff, and one of the main things that he did was he didn't want to sell it. And I mean, Texas Department of Criminal Justice, you're going to get a celly unless you say it. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get double housed. That just is what it is. But he would always pull these stunts about him and his celly getting into it, or his celly trying to, stealing his stuff, or whatever it was he was doing. But he would go down to administration and tell them these, whatever these lies or these stories, if they true or whatever. And then it would bring some heat on the pod, because now here come the cops come down, and then they taking the celly out, handcuffed and all of this. So it was just always something going on. Well, at this particular time, because I got this bag in my locker, I'm kind of concerned about it. Normally I wouldn't even, it didn't concern me. So I'm going, I'm find out what's going on out there. So I'm telling Rosario, I'm like, man, this fool gotta go, man. This fool gotta go. I say, man, up to this point, I ain't really worried about it, but this fool bringing all this heat. They coming over here finding people's contraband, searching cells down and stuff, just basically because of him not wanting to sell it, man. He in prison. He gonna have a celly, And I say, man, he can't come back. I say, man, if fool come back, man, I'm telling you, I'm gonna smoke it. So Rosario like, yeah, man, him and his homeboys on my section, they really didn't fool with the dude. They didn't look out for him. They didn't really, if anything went down, they'd probably go tell Dirty Boy, man, this fool over here tripping or whatever. But other than that, they really didn't have nothing to do with this clown like that. So as we talking and everything, and I'm going off about, the white dude, Rosario say, man, he ain't the only one over there snitching no bloodshot. And so it's a black dude sitting next to me, named Reverend, or the Rev. And he had a little old jacket on him. I didn't never confirm anything here or there about it, but he had a jacket on him. And so I made the comment. I say, yeah, I know this fool right here got a jacket on him too, by telling him whatever. But I mean, right now, it's about this fool right here got all this heat over here. So boom, run through that. They come bring us back in, so I don't get busted with the wine, right? So the day 4, I'm gonna say day 4. Man, I go to chow, and while I'm in chow, I get into it with an officer. So me and him exchange some words or whatever. So I go ahead and make a beeline out the chow, because I ain't trying to go to jail, because I just got all this stuff in my locker. I don't want to come hit my cell and all that. So I bail back to the block, and hold it down until somebody comes, because I got to get this out of my cell just in case somebody comes, come shake my cell down. So I had a neighbor named Negro. He was a blast. So I said, say, man, I got this shit, and I just got into it with this officer, man. You think you can get it? And he was like, yeah. So I got it in a plastic bag. It's 10 gallons now. It's in a plastic bag, and I got it in a commissary bag, and then I got it wrapped up in a gray blanket. So when they roll the door, I just slide it around to the Negro, because he's my neighbor. I just slid it right off in his cell, so we put it in there. So boom. So I'm good now. So early that morning, day 3, Negro tell me, he beat on my wall and said, man, I gotta go to school. You gotta get this out of my locker. So I'm like, dang. I'm like, okay. But it's early. It's like 7 o'clock. First time day room call. So it ain't hardly nobody out there. So when he opened the door, I reach around and get it, but he ain't got it all wrapped up the way that I had it wrapped up, man. You don't have a blanket on and stuff, so you can just see this big bag with this orange stuff in it. Anybody who see that note, man, it's hooch, man. We make it out of orange juice, sugar and stuff. So anybody see it know what it is, right? So I'm like, man, so I bring it in the cell. So I put it in the cell, drag the blanket in, I close my door, and I get my towel, and I'm about to put it over the door so I can take care of my business and put everything back in my locker. So when I go to the door to look to see, where the COs are at, Reverend sitting in the day room. So he turn around and look at me, give me a thumbs up, and I'm like, dang, that's the last fool I want to see me doing anything like this, I just put him on blast on the yard. So anyway, man, I put the towel up on the door, man, so I get everything situated in the cell. So bam. The day before Thanksgiving, it's Thanksgiving Eve, man. This is literally Thanksgiving Eve. So man, everybody prepared. You know, we don't made big store. You know, everybody got their stuff together. We're gonna make big spreads. You know, just the whole 9 yards, man. Just trying to celebrate. You know, Thanksgiving and holidays in prison. You know, a semblance of how we did it in the free world a little bit. You know, it's just all homies now. So man, I'm asleep. I'm knocked out. So I hear a knock on the door. So man, I sit up in my bunk. Man, it's police. Man, they like about 7, 8 deep. So my door open. Boom. I said, man, get down out the bunk. Y'all get out the bunk. So boom, I hop down. So I'm like, he said, man, who lock is there with the locker on? I say, mine. He said, man, unlock it. Get that shit up out of there. So man, I unlock it and pull the stuff out right. So when he see how big it is, man, he like, man, y'all, what was y'all planning on doing with all of this? So, you know, I'm like, man, evidently nothing, huh? Not now anyway. So he said, man, bring it down to the desk. So bam, I drag it down to the desk, man. And you know, he talked to me. So now this right here is some key points I need y'all to pay attention to. Now, if you've been on the 2250, when you let's just say I'm on A section. Let's just say I'm on A section. When you come out of A section, you can see C section. So it's right across. You can just walk straight across past the desk and go that way. Then you know you got the B that's going this way, but you can't see the door. But you can see the door right here to the C section. So as I'm coming out, going to the desk, I see Rev with a mop bucket and a broom coming out of C section. So when he sees me, he busts a U-turn and goes back in. Now understand this, man. Rev not no SSI. Man, Rev working laundry. This man out 1, 2 o'clock in the morning with mops and brooms and stuff, right? So I'm like, man. So anyway, I go up to the desk or whatever. So, you know, we go through the whole little thing, whatever about, you know, the wine and everything. So I go back. So when I go back, it's like first call for breakfast. So I go upstairs and I tell Rosario, I said, say, man, I got popped with that wine. And he's like, man, how? So I tell him or whatever, right? And I tell him the whole little get down with the Rev and everything. And he like, man, so they call breakfast. So we go to breakfast. So on the way back, we in the day room. He said, man, what you gonna do? I said, man, I'm gonna crash. I'm gonna crash myself. I ain't gonna do it today. Because, you know, it's Thanksgiving. I don't want to mess up nobody Thanksgiving or whatever. I'm gonna let everybody celebrate. I said, man, this week, I said, man, I gotta get mine, man. I said, man, I'm gonna go to the other side of the unit now, man. I said, man, it's gonna be for something. So he like, all right. So later on that day, him and his homeboy Zapata came over, and they was like, look, man, check this out. You know, it's a lot of snitching going on, just on the unit and stuff, man. And we've been talking about setting an example, you know, just, you know, kind of tightening up on the unit or whatever, man. He's saying this right here, you know, prime opportunity. You know, we want to ride out with you on this fool. You know, we was invested in it too, man. We put all that money in it, you know, so we lost too, you know. So I'm like, all right. So I tell him, I say, look, I'm gonna holler at my boy Red Dog. And Red Dog got a Lubbock. Shout out to Red Dog, real one. So I say, I'm gonna holler at Red Dog and tell him, you know, if you're gonna ride out with me or whatever, right? So bam, everything's set. You know, me and Red Dog gonna ride out. Rosario and Zapata gonna ride out. So now we talking about, like, you know, we don't want to kill the dude. I ain't gonna front like that. We ain't want to kill him. You know what I'm saying? We really wanted to send a serious message though. You know, get that helicopter landed out there on that wreck yard or something. But we ain't trying to kill him though, right? So we was talking about, you know, weapons. So we was like, well, we ain't gonna use no knives. We don't want to accidentally, you know, poke something we ain't trying to poke, right? So what we did was we got some canned goods and some steel-toe boots. And, you know, everybody strapped up with steel-toe boots and everybody loaded up their little commissary bag with the canned goods, right? So the day after Thanksgiving, the Rev come in. So I'm sitting down in front of my cell, right? I'm just sitting down in front of my cell. So he go up to 3 row and he's talking through the section door. So Rosario Zapata come in. Now Red Dog had to fall out of place. He was running a little late, but he made it. So everything stashed in the shower. You know, all the canned goods and the bags and stuff, you know, stashed in the shower. So as soon as Rev come downstairs, I walk over there to him, but I don't have nothing in my hand yet. I just walk over there to him and I said, say, man, you remember I got popped with that wine the other night? And he's like, yeah, and I beat for him. Bam. So when I hit him, everybody just boom. So now we all got our stuff. He on the ground, man. Well, he wasn't on the ground. Yeah, he was up against the wall, man. We hitting this dude, man. We banging this dude. Just boom, boom, boom. Boy, which was another Tango, really wasn't even supposed to be in this, right? He got 10 years, man. I got a life sentence. Red Dog got a life sentence. The Puttin got a life sentence, and Rosario got a life sentence. So we doing this like this because, it's solid amongst all of us, but then you got boy coming in, want to, get his little old, get down. And so he jumped in. So, there's all 5 of us beating this dude half to death, man. And the crazy thing is this. Normally, the officer in the picket, because the picket is way up and you can see all 3 sections, right? It's way up in the air. Normally, he would have seen what was going on. But the crazy thing is, this took place right at shift change. So the on-duty officer that's coming to work is at the back door of the control picket, and the officer in the picket had to actually go down. So he can't see what's going on. So we beating this dude, kicking this dude, stomping this dude, beating this dude. I mean, man, I don't know how long it was. This seemed like forever though. So finally, I had a homeboy in the cell named Cigarette, man, and he was yelling at me, man, y'all gonna kill him, man. Y'all gonna kill him, man. Stop, man. Y'all gonna kill him. So boom, that kind of brought some clarity back to me because I was zoned out. So boom, everybody so Zapata and Flacco, they run in the shower. I run up in the shower. Red Dog, he jammed out because he can't even get off the section right now. Because at this time, Rev then got up, and it's all glass in front of the day room, to where you can see, man, he got his arms up against the glass like this, man. His blood just smeared all across, man, the windows and stuff. And I mean, and when the officer seen it, man, he flipped, right? So bam, he get the door, they drag him out in the deep space and everything. So now, everybody out the shower. So bam, man, we sitting down in front of ourselves, right? So Negro, he going off. He like, yeah, man, this lesson number 1 right here. This the first lesson right here. Yeah, y'all better pay attention. Don't flunk. He tripping like that. He just, putting on or whatever, letting everybody know, man, this is what's gonna start happening, because it's just too much telling going on, right? And I mean, over anything, dude get a case. He don't want to fade the case. So he go tell. And that's one thing that I forgot. I forgot to tell you too. With the dude, Rev, he had a case pending. He had a case for some tobacco. Him and his celly got caught with some tobacco, and neither one of them would take the case. So he had this case pending, right? So this is a key point. This is a key point. This is what I'm telling you. So it'll come back. It'll come back. Y'all will see the how it works in with this. So he putting on and everything, telling him, yeah, man, this is what's going on, whatever. So they come in, right? The police finally come in, video camera, they film everybody, and boom, they looking for marks and scars and everything, blood or whatever, so they find all the bloody clothes in the shower and everything, and they took all of that out. They got Flacco and got me, and they got some other dudes that actually didn't even have nothing to do with it, but I said Flacco, Rosario, they got Rosario and me, but they got some other dudes that really didn't even have anything to do with it. And what I mean by that is, certain people's names is just like always into something. Mine, Rosario, Crip nigga named Damn Fool, another Crip named Old School. They was getting just on site. They was just getting people who they felt like, probably had something to do with it. And so boom, we all go to lockup. So man, I'm sitting back there in lockup, man. All of a sudden, here comes Zapata. They get Zapata, and then they get Boy. So we all back there, man, in lockup, man. We ain't doing no talking and nothing. We already know what it is. It ain't no big deal or whatever, right? So about 2 days back there or 3 days back there, it's the first thing that made me feel dumb is the lieutenant came. The lieutenant who came to my cell and got the wine, right? He came, he said, man, what did you do? And I'm like, man, what you mean? And he's like, man, you stupid. I'm like, what? He said, man, I didn't even write you a case for the wine. He said, but now you did all of this crazy stuff. And they went to ask him what the issue was. And it come up about y'all supposed to have got pop with some wine. And y'all think the Rev told on y'all. And this and this is why y'all did it. So I had to go back and write the case because they was getting on me because it wasn't no case turned in. So I'm like, for real, like y'all think he kind of running some drag, right? So a couple of days later, they come to my cell and give me a wine case, right? But I know he telling the truth because it's a picture with the wine. And the picture is of an officer holding 2 jugs of wine like this. That's not my wine. My wine was in a big bag. So I'm like, man, you ain't lying. You telling the truth, right? So now I'm feeling like a dummy because I'm like, man, I ain't even get a case for the wine. But we still needed to set that example, man, about dudes ratting and stuff. So that's neither here nor there. But I did feel like, man, I really tripped out, right? So the next thing that happened, laws came from the free world. They read everybody's rights. They let down fool go and they let old school go. They had brought Zapata in, they brought Rosario in, they brought me and they had boy. So whoever told who was the people who did something to it in Red Dog, they brought Red Dog in. So they calling us out, they reading us our rights, they coming with free world charges on this, right? So they reading everybody's rights, whatever, so they asking for a statement. We're like, man, we ain't giving no statement, ain't no big deal, whatever, right? So bam, boy started becoming a weak link. He only had 10 years, and it's just, stuff just got real now. They talking about, they read rights and stuff. They talking about, indictments and stuff like that. So now boy sending kites to me, to Rosario, and Zapata, and Red Dog telling us, man, just say he ain't had nothing to do with it. I wouldn't even answer none of the kites. I never answered no kite that he sent to me. I flushed it down the toilet or whatever. And I ain't even talk about it, with nobody. It is what it is. You shouldn't have jumped in it. You wasn't supposed to be in it. So now, hold your mud. That's the only thing I can tell you. So GI came. GI questioned everybody and stuff. So the GI pulled me out. So I'm saying this right here really just messed me up. This right here, this right here. But it get deeper than this. In part 2, because I'm gonna have to cut this into a part 2 because it's kind of long. Part 2 is out of control. But this right here really messed me up. So he called me into the office. Now, we're actually in 11 building. We're not in 12 building for anybody that knows. We're in 11 building when it still has solitary and everything. So if you've been back there, you know how it's set up. So we're off in the office, and the office is all glass. So my back is to the hallway, and there's a day room right across the hallway. And it's, you can see everything. It's all bars and everything. It's just all bars. So you can see in there. So I'm talking with my back to the day room, to the GI. So he telling me, he's like, man, Rev didn't snitch on y'all about that wine. I said, man, I don't know what you're talking about, man. I said, man, I don't know. Whoever said something, they said it or whatever. I don't know. It don't make me no difference. He said, no, I'm telling you, man, the Rev he didn't tell on. He said, excuse me, who told on you? I said, man, evidently who. He said, fool right there in the day room. Man, I turned around. And it was that white dude, man. It was that white dude that I had ran off and told Rosario and them, the man, if he come back, man, I was gonna do something to him. I don't know how he found out about the wine. Now, just on an assumption by him and Dirty Boy, having the thing that they had going on or whatever, I believe that Dirty Boy might have told him about the wine. That's because the blast on my section didn't fool with the fool. You know what I'm saying? But Dirty Boy and him, they had their little, he's riding with Dirty Boy, whatever. So Dirty Boy might have just told him, man, look, man, we're gonna get drunk on Thanksgiving, man. I got some wine, blase, Bloodshot got the wine, and boom, boom, boom. So when I did what I did to him, running him off as out of retaliation, he snitched on me and get me popped. And then all of this happened with the Rev, man. So this part 1 right here, this part 1, but it continues, man. It goes all the way to another unit. So I'm gonna ask y'all, man, tune in, man. Don't miss this second part. Tune in because it's heavy, man. It's heavy, So right with that right there, man. Peace out. What's banging?